Welcome everybody to ESCFanTV. Thank you for joining us on this Wednesday evening. You are not going to regret your decision to tune in. It's going to be a fantastic show. What have we got due tonight on the show? We are going to take you through 4 countries' national finals and entries. We are going to take you through the Czech Republic that last year had a fantastic, successful Eurovision Song Contest with Mikolas Josef. I'm sure you remember. Then we will turn our attention to Spain, who have their Operación Triunfo Gala Eurovision night this coming Sunday. We will then turn our attention to Romania, who last year sadly failed to qualify for their very first time. And we will finish off with Hungary. Have we got a potential Eurovision winner amongst those 4 countries? Let's find out. But who have we got on the show tonight? Well, we're very proud to welcome back the lovely Jo.
Hi.
From the Let Me Be the One blog and radio show, we have Martin Palmer.
Hiya.
We have, as always, our mid-tempo loving maniac, Tom.
Hi.
You thought I'd forgotten about that one, Tom, didn't you?
I wish.
We have Tristan.
Hello.
And joining us for the very first time, all the way from Cyprus, we have Oban.
Hey, everyone.
So, Oban, thank you very much for joining.
Pleasure.
It's your first ESCFanTV. I hope you're excited.
Very much so, actually.
So, look, I can't start the show without talking about a 5th country. I have to talk about your country. You come to us from Cyprus. Cyprus should have won Eurovision 2018, should they not?
Don't get me started. It was the year for us, like the first time in 35 years of history. And we got this close, literally, and it wasn't expected. We knew we love Eleni Freira. We knew her. She was a huge hit all over Cyprus, and then she wasn't like until the end of the first semifinal. I didn't have a ticket. I wasn't planning to go. And then 1 hour after the first semifinal, as soon as we sit that first rank on the betting odds and stuff, I was like, no, dude, I gotta go there now. I booked a 400 euros last minute ticket, 400 euros last minute hotel reservation. And then it's just like, I'm going there. I don't care. It's going to cost me the fortune. I ended up there, of course, Saturday night, 2 minutes crying, but then partied. Like, I felt like I am the Eleni because like everybody was like, oh, you're from Cyprus. Let's take a picture. This never happened. Like this never happened in 3-4 years time of my experiences. And I was giving pictures like I was Eleni. And then it's such a good time for us. Let's see what's going to happen this year.
I'm sure I speak on behalf of the team here, but we're very proud of Cyprus's achievement. About time as well. It's been a long time since Cyprus did really well. I mean, maybe this was your time. Maybe it won't come again for a while. But fingers crossed. Tamta. We haven't spoke about Tamta on ESCFanTV. Tamta tried to represent Greece some years ago. Didn't quite make it, but she's representing Cyprus this year. What are we expecting from Tamta?
Obviously, she finished recording the song 2 days ago. And they had the final studio session. Now it's tone mastering and stuff. The final touches will be done, but without the Tamta, with Alex P and his team. And John Baptiste was there last weekend. Obviously, they went through the choreography. They listened to the song. They did some brainstorming there. And then today in the morning, Tamta dropped some three picture to her Instagram, so which got us excited really actually. So could be a show there. She's gonna have some wigs and stuff.
If you haven't already seen it, it's a picture flying around Instagram of Tamta doing the splits against a wall, which is well worth going to have a look at. Martin, that one's probably more for you, and Tristan, of course. certainly got my attention. So yeah, I mean, I think we got to wait. It's going to be up tempo, isn't it? It's going to be
she's a showgirl. Let's be honest. Let's not be too creative. She's a showgirl, and she has a beautiful voice actually, and with a good song, with a good staging. I think she's a potential to at least try her best to do the same, to repeat the same success, if not better.
Yeah. So we also know that you've lived quite a period of time in Czech Republic. So we're going to come back to you later when we talk about the Czech songs. Well, in fact, actually, we are going to talk about the Czech songs right now. But before we do that, I'd just like to say thanks to those in the chat room. Thank you as always for joining us. Do keep your questions coming through. We will read them out on air. If you are on the chat right now, make sure you click the like button. You click subscribe. And for those listening either on Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher or TuneIn, or even watching our YouTube channel and the YouTube catch-up, we really appreciate it. Just make sure you do click subscribe. It really makes a difference to us. We do this for you. I appreciate you clicking that button for us. Right, so Czech Republic. Czech Republic came sixth last year with Mikolas Josef, their best result. In fact, they've only qualified from the semi-final twice. The first time was back in 2016 with I Stand. I'm sure many can remember that. For me, that was one of the better songs of 2016. So Czech Republic this year, 8 songs, which will go to a public vote, and we will find out the winner on the 28th of this month. So Joe, take us through the sort of the best songs for you. Which are your favourites, and which songs are in here that you're thinking no chance of qualifying?
Okay, well, my favourites to start with, I've got a list here. Barbara Machova, is it? With True Colours. I think that it's a quality song. She's a quality singer. It doesn't quite build up. It's quite a nice slow ballad that builds up a little bit. I love it. I voted for it because you can, of course, vote on the app. So of course I love that. Whether the Czech Republic will vote for it, I don't know, because I think as of last year they'll probably go for something more up tempo, maybe another male singer. I don't know. And in which case, if they do, I think they may go for the group Lake Malawi. Again, there's a nice catchy part to it. It's quite a bit of sing along, and there's a little tiny bit where one of the females sings it like being a friend, and it's just that little catchy bit that you go away and you start sort of, I don't know, thinking a bit, and as you walk off it still kicks in your mind. So those are my 2 tips. There are probably some other ones that I can mention. Is it Pam Rabbit, who's
great
again
name.
I think a little bit of class. Yeah, great name. Backing singer for Mr. Joseph, I believe, last year as well. So, yeah, so she's got that Eurovision experience. They may go for her. So, again, she's on the list as well.
Can I just point about Pam Rabbit? I listened to that song. I immediately think it's a 2019 version of Paula Abdul.
Do you know, you could do, yeah, could be.
That's what springs to mind. I think Paula Abdul every time. Paula Abdul or Martika. Who remembers Martika?
Oh, I do remember Martika. I am a field
showing our ages here.
Must be before my time then.
Oh, soldiers.
Right.
Martin, what do you make of the Czech songs?
They're good range of songs. I must admit, I've gone for Barbara Machova, True Colours as well. That's where my vote went because I love the song. But I could see that there's some, especially Lake Malawi, they've played in festivals all over the Czech Republic and in the UK as well. So I could see that they might have a bit of a fan base already. And that might make, I suspect that's going to be a big deal with this sort of voting process of an online national final. You know, if they've got, fan base already, they'll just, be on the app straight away voting for them. I don't think there's any bad songs. There's a couple there that I'd probably say were a bit, I don't think they're going to get through and they're just making up the numbers. But, sort of Andrew Holler and Yara Weimer, they're nice songs, but again, I don't think there's much there. But yeah, I'd probably be going for Barbara as my vote. So.
And Tom?
Totally different then. It hasn't, how can I say, hasn't escaped my attention that Space Sushi has 116,000 YouTube views already. And I think this is probably the most interesting act that's actually out there. I've listened to it. I've looked at the video of it. I think there's a good chance it's going to win. to be honest. He's got that Mikolas Josef vibe, but without actually being Mikolas Josef. It's a bit out there, and I quite like that one. That is where my vote's gone. If I was to go for any runners-up on that, Friend of a Friend is another one that I've got down because that's quite catchy. And then the other one is, where is it? The one I can't pronounce the name of, Plosny Slova Toby or something. But that's appalling pronunciation. It's the one that actually isn't in English. There we go. But that's very upbeat and very dramatic. And I think that might actually do something as well. But Space Sushi all the way for me.
Jakub Ondra, Space Sushi. Started singing at 7 years old. He was signed by Universal at the age of 18. I've got down here modern core mid-tempo pop. And he looks to me, it reminds me of Ed Sheeran. That's sort of where my head goes. Interesting theme of Space Sushi. I really like that song too, Tom. Actually, it reminds me of a time I was eating Japanese food in Amsterdam, but that's just another story.
It's got a very student vibe to it, I think.
It has. Oban, what are your favourites?
Well, I have to tell you that my vote gone for the Lake Malawi because in 2015 Stockholm. San Marino, Serhat, I didn't know, 70s, 80s vibe. The same vibe, I get it from him. His song, the melody, it's so old school, it's so my jam. I just love the music. I am not crazy about his voice, but he's charming young man, obviously. Not a big vocal, but I think it just speaks to me out of these 8 songs, I guess. And let me tell you this, I don't know what went wrong with Czech Republic this year. I hope that they would keep the trend, like the modern, fresh, something current. But I'm a little bit disappointed. There's a bit low interest in Czech Republic to Eurovision. Actually, there is none. They always blame why they don't do good. I lived there 2.5 years, but they also lack the effort they don't put the effort to it, except last year. Also, I like Martina Barta, I think, if I'm not mistaken, which she couldn't qualify.
That's right.
In Ukraine, in Kiev, 17. So yeah, my only favorite, only song I like was A Friend of a Friend, Lake Malawi. Yeah.
They've had some real shockers, Czech Republic, in the past, but actually the last few years, their songs have been really good standard.
Exactly.
And I think you're right. Martina's song was very good. I think Gabriela Gunčekova's song with I Stand was one of their better songs. But I mean, you can't really look beyond Mikolas Josef. He took it to a whole new level last year.
Well, Mikolas was the only one who put the money and the effort and the work for the staging. If you think of, except the Aven Romale in Moscow 2009, I don't think of any staging except Mikolas Josef. Mm-hmm. So that's why he actually, when you say 6, actually they got 4th in the televotes. Czech Republic is a country who got absolute 0 point when back it was only televote. There was no juries. They were 0.1 point, and now they become 4th.
Yeah,
ahead of Sweden. So it's a great success.
And Tristan, your favourites in Czech Republic?
I personally really like Barbara Makova. I think it's one of the only songs where it's a great voice, quite a nice song, and really, really nice dreamy instrumentals. And also she looks she's a really attractive singer as well. Not that should make any difference, but just those 3 things: the great voice, great song, and great instrumentals. A lot of the others have got 2 of those things, but not 3. So, for example, I really liked Pamela Rabbit, but the song needs quite a lot of work done to it. She's got a good voice, and it's again good music, but just the song itself just needs some work. Then you got other ones where the song is just really boring, like Java Weimar, but it has got a nice instrumental sound to it. And then Hanna-Barbera's fantastic instruments, but the song is just so repetitive. It goes on and on and on, and it gets quite boring. But for me, it's probably Barbara Markova and Pam Rabbit. Pam Rabbit's got. If you haven't seen it, the Pamela Rabbit video is really fun. It's her in this flat. Well, actually, all of them are filmed in the same flat, but it's more inventive. She sticks her phone on the wall. And does her makeup, and then then there's some lights in the bottom of her bath, and she's dancing in the bath with the phone, singing into the phone. It's fun, and it's a bit more work has gone into the video, and it's quite a funky song as well. So for me, it's Barbara and Pam.
So I think to summarise then, because my favourite also would be Space Sushi. And the song I can't remember the name of, True Colours by Barbara Machova. So I think what we're saying is ESCFanTV are saying that Barbara Machova with True Colours, we're saying Lake Malawi with Friend of a Friend, and most likely Jacob Ondra with Space Sushi are going to be the three, which one of those are most likely to qualify. However, tallying all your numbers up, I make it that True Colours is going to be represented Czech Republic. And that sticks with what is currently being considered the favourite. So we've gone with the general popular vote there. So True Colours is going to represent the Czech Republic according to ESCFanTV. Moving on to Spain, Operación Triunfo takes part there. Will decide their Eurovision song this coming Sunday. Spain, of course, is a member of the Big Five. They've participated 58 times, won twice. In 1968 with La 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 with Mathiel, of course, and 1969 with Vivo Cantando with Salome, four-way tie with the UK, France, and the Netherlands back in '69. Spain have chosen Operación Triunfo to pick their singers 2002 through 2004, and of course now have chosen to do it again the last few years. Last year, Amaya E. Alfred represented Spain, finished disappointingly 23rd with 61 points, despite being one of the so-called favourites going into the contest. So, Tristan, coming back to you, what songs within Spain should we look out for this year?
Right, I mean, there is a standout favourite. It's also the fans really like it as well, but it's Maria Muérdeme, which means bite me. It's really, really fun song. Lyrics are, unfortunately, a lot of people won't understand the lyrics, but they're a bit naughty. It's you're not the first one to bite me there. You're not the first wolf I've ever had. Your lambskin isn't fooling me because I'm not a beginner. It's great fun. It's going to remind people a lot of what Spain could have had last year, which was Lo Malo by Ana Guerra and Amaya, which turned out to be a huge success in Spain and in Latin America after the competition. That's the one that really should have won for Spain. And it's going to remind people of that. It's the same sort of Latin-y vibe. It's the same sort of sexiness on stage with a little bit of urban cool. That's my favourite. My second favourite, mainly because of her amazing voice, is Natalia La Clave, the key. It's slightly less Latin-y than the other. A very Latin feel throughout most of the Spanish songs this year. The lyrics a little bit naff. Only you are the key, even though you don't know it. Stuff like that. It's a bit naff, but it's a really, really fantastic voice. I mean, she's got probably the best voice I think in the whole competition. As for who will win, if it's not Maria, obviously Famous. If he Operación Triunfo, which is a separate competition, sort of like Big Brother style or Fame Academy style, to choose who wins that actual competition. He won it. He hasn't got the best song, which is a shame because he deserved to have a far better song being the winner. But unfortunately, the songs and the singers were all coupled up long before, months ago. Before they even realised that he would win. But what's a real shame, because Famous absolutely loves the Eurovision Song Contest. He said he's the one who said all along he really wants to go. He did in the Operación Triunfo one week. He actually did a version of César Sampson's German song. Won that week, Scala, and even César Sampson even went on YouTube saying how great it was and how honoured he was that Famous did a version. It would have been great. It would be great if Spain brings Famous, but it looks like probably in the end the fans will go for Muérdeme, and it's a great song. It really should win. I think Spain, they've gone for a real Latin feel this year, and in the past that's worked quite well for Spain. Obviously, David Civera and people like that have got good results in the past when they've gone for a real Latin flavoured song. And I think this year Spain could do, if they go for one of them, they could do very well indeed.
And Joanne, do you concur with Tristan's view on Spain having a successful 2019?
Yeah, I think he's right. I think Maria is likely to win. I'm not as big a fan of the song, I have to say. I've actually gone, I like Famous, only because of the fact that the song sort of takes me back a little bit to Spain in the 80s and in the 90s a little bit. And also I love Mickey and Lavender, just because it's catchy and you can go around and, yeah, you know, sort of, I suppose, it's just a bit of an earworm, just the chorus part. But I do think Maria's going to win, I have to say. As I said, I'm not a massive fan of the song. I don't particularly think she's got that strong a voice. I don't know, maybe it's just me. But she's a little bit weaker, and whether it's just her quality or anything, I don't know. But even on that minute sort of clip, I just thought that she was a little bit weak, and I would worry about her in live. But whereas Famous, I think, would just get the staging right, become a showman, and just go out there and do it. Really, it's a difficult one. I'll say Famous for him.
And Martin?
Well, I think it's a shame that the two of the best singers actually in the whole OT process have got not particularly, as people have been saying, Famous and Natalia. I think they could, if they had far better songs, they would be far and away out in front, because they are the best singers there. The other singer that didn't even make it to this competition, even though she was one of the top three in the main process, was Alba Reche. I don't know how to pronounce her name. And, you know, so that was a shock that she wasn't in the 10. The one I would go for, just purely because it's fairly old school Spain, single female soloist powering out power ballad, would be Noelia. I can't pronounce, and I'm not very good at Spanish, but hers sounds like a traditional bit Ruth Lorenzo, Pastora, Soler, that style of song, and that would be something different to a lot of the Latin type things. And she was doing quite well. She wasn't first in the ratings, but she was sort of in the top three with the public. So that could do quite well if people want something different. So, but I must admit, I'm not a great fan of most of them, to be honest. So.
And Oban, have you got any favourites in the Spanish Spanish final?
Yeah, for me, there's two people stand out: Marta Vuelve and Carlos Wright Nunca Fui. However, I had Noelia as my third. Exactly had the same comment: Pastora Soler style powerhouse voice. It's so powerful. It's, you know, you can feel when she sings, Noelia sings, you can feel the volume in her voice. It's just, it reaches out, it touches you. However, my favorite by mile most probably will be Marta. It's such a perfectly Spanish song. The vocal, the melody, the feeling, the passion, it's just on point. And if I would be Spanish, I would feel proud that song would represent me. And also Nunca Fui, Carlos Wright, I really felt the song. It's soft, but it's heavy. It's not crying out loud, but still makes your heart go like, you know what I mean? Like it makes you feel something, even though it's not like, you know, yelling at you like how his heart was broken and stuff.
And Tom?
Do you know what? Oban stole my thunder, because that's exactly what I came up with. Marta being the top one for me. I love that song. It's brilliant. The thing when I was looking at Maradem's song there, I thought it was trying to be something that it really wasn't. It was almost trying to take off parts of Fuego from last year, whereas I actually think Velvet offers something different. And just to align us even more, my second was Nunca Fe as well, which again I think would make a very good song if they were to send it, because I think it's quite anthemic. He really sings out, and it's quite likable actually as well. I quite enjoyed that.
So I've got two favourites, both ballads. One, I think I agree with most, is Noelia. I think that's a fantastic ballad, very powerful. But my favourite is Maria Muedeme, and I also like the other ballad, Sibelia with Hoy Soner, which I think is a really, really good song. But I think coming back to my earlier point, I think Maria with Muedeme, the up-tempo number, the Latin up-tempo number, is favourite. It's actually favourite and odds-on to win with the betting companies right now. Will probably win, but my pick would be Noelia or Sibelia. Sibelia, is that right, Tristan? Sibelia Hoy Soner?
Yeah,
I pronounce that correctly?
Sabella, almost. Sabella, Hoy Soñaré. Today I will be.
There you go. You see, it's good to have somebody who can actually pronounce it properly. So let's go to the chat room. Let's see what some people have said. Yeah. Sorry, Tristan, go back to you first.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, just for Cyprus fans, Eleni is going to be the guest singer on the show on Sunday, and also a couple of you have mentioned Pastor Soler. She's going to be one of the guest in the expert panel discussing the song, so she might influence quite a lot Noelia's song when she gives her feedback, as indeed Sabella's song, which is also quite Pastora Solerish.
Thank you, Tristan. A couple of points, comments in the chat room. Claude has said, if anyone saw the other 7 options that didn't quite make it to the top 10 for the Spanish selection, are there any that you think should have made the cut instead? I'll go to you, Tristan, for that.
Oh, blimey, I wasn't ready for that. I'm just going to have to come back to me in a second.
We'll come back to you with that one. I know you've got the answer somewhere. Orion says, I think that Maria has to go, and if not, Marilia or Mickey. But we'll see the 18th if something will change. Something that people keep bringing back is if they want to go, who cares? Okay. I'm not sure if I've read that properly, but we'll come back. Mickey and Maria and Carlos Wright are my favourites. I don't get what's so special with Muadame, and that's from Karins, who comes to us from Latvia. And Orion also says Muadame is the low malo that didn't make it last year. Spain hasn't said anything like that. That this is the perfect time to send it, and most of the ballads are being scratched because of last year. Yep. Thank you for your comments. Non-related to Spain, Cameron's also says, quick information. Today, the Lithuanian national final Heat 3 was filmed, and a song called Control-Alt-Delete, I think, made it through. Control-Alt-Delete. There you go.
Well, I'm going to watch that still.
Oh, sorry, Tristan. There we go.
Yeah, no, the result, mate.
Yeah, there you go. Don't have to listen to it now. Matthew Andrews has joined the chat. Has also said Maria says she doesn't want to go to Eurovision. Interesting piece of news. She might have to.
That's what's in the contract.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you take part.
Yeah,
you go into the Big Brother of Eurovision. That's what you get.
Just to answer your question, yes, there was one Albarreche, Que será luego. I thought that should have gone through, and in fact, it's a little bit of a shame that the expert jury didn't put it through, because it did actually quite well in the online televote. It came, I think, 6th in that televote. They put through lots of songs that in fact came 9th and 10th and 11th, in the televote, and they just completely ignored Albarreche. The other thing I will add is that there were 3 singers, Dave, Africa, and Alfonso, who had taken part in the Operación Triunfo, and they didn't have any songs given to them at all. I think in the case of Dave, that was a real mistake, because he has a great voice.
Thank you, Tristan. And before we move on from Spain, what do we think of the performance of Alfred and Amaya last year? Do they deserve 23rd? Should they have done better? Yeah. I'll come to Joanne for this.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't expecting them to be so low. However, I think by the time that Eurovision actually came along, people were sick of them. The fans were just sick of the story and the love, and I think it was just a little bit too much. Wasn't a good song either, to be honest. I still think Nationala should have won. I actually voted. I predicted they would win and not Nationala for some reason, but I did like Nationala better. Yeah, they deserved it. How about that then?
I was going to say, I think I'm just double checking my facts here. I think basically they got outdone by Lithuania because Lithuania's song had a very similar vibe to it, and dare I say it, had a better performance to it as well.
More believable.
Yeah. And Lithuania came 12th. They came 23rd. And the proof was in the pudding.
Yeah. And a similar comment by Karen's. They should have done better, but it was just a bit too much. Yeah, I would agree with that. I was never that confident they were going to do well in the first place, if I'm totally honest. There was a lot of stuff riding for them. A lot of people saying that they were going to be in the top 5, and I just never saw it. I never saw the love story like many saw, and it looked a bit forced to me. It looked a bit like they were two young people pulled together. You must be this couple that everyone wants you to be, and I'm sure I'm wrong. I'm not saying a conspiracy theory here that they weren't really a couple. Many have said that they weren't. I'm not saying that, but it didn't look true to me. That's all I would say on that matter. That's Spain. So I think we're basically saying that Maria's going to win, aren't we? I think we're saying that Maria's got a few shaking their heads. Maria's probably going to win. Yeah. Noelia is going to challenge, and they're the two of the three that qualified through the Operation Triunfo direct to the final. So you kind of expect that, really. So, just on time, Alistair Rendell's joined us. Hi, Alistair.
Hello, good evening, everyone.
Yeah, I was waffling there just for a little while to see if you could make it. So, for those that just joined us, Alistair is the president of OGAE UK. And he's joined us. Busy time in the UK for Alistair right now. We're not going to talk about that. That's for another time. However, he has joined us to talk about Romania and Hungary. So thank you for finding time to join us for a short period of your life, Alistair. Appreciate it.
No problem. Always two of my favourite Eurovision countries as well to talk about.
So let's get straight into it. Let's talk about Romania. So Selectia Nationala. 24 songs, then it was 25, then it was 27, then it was 105, then it was 3, and then it was 24 again. That's where we currently sit today, 24 songs. The first semi-final takes place on the 27th of January, the second semi-final on the 10th of February, and the final on the 17th of February. Lots of scandals. It feels to me like it always is with Romania. I don't know why. Dan Pittman of 1994 fame withdrew. Then Romania decided to introduce 2 wildcards. Then Mihai decided that he wasn't happy and decided to withdraw as well. So we find ourselves with 24 songs over 2 semi-finals. Romania have taken part 19 times, of course. And until last year, they had never failed to qualify from the semi-final. However, the humans changed all of that, and they narrowly missed out. And I do say narrowly. They finished 11th in their semi-final. However, they have been relatively successful. They've never won, but in 2005, Luminita Angel and System finished 3rd. And then a few years later, in 2010, Ovi and Paula Selling, who of course represented Romania twice, finished 3rd again with Playing with Fire. So they have got pedigree, Romania. So, Tristan, come back to you. Take us through some of the best songs in Romania and which ones are the favourites, which ones you think have the best chance.
Okay, well, I mean, I can talk about my favourites. I haven't actually checked what the bookies are saying yet. My favourite, and I absolutely love this. It's got a bit of a Balkan feel to it, and that's Leticia Moisescu and Sensibile Dinah. It's a fantastic song. It's got a really interesting structure. It's got all that opera stuff in it, and great sounds. I absolutely love it. It won't win, though. I'm pretty sure it won't win. The one I think that might do a lot better, which is also one of my favourites, is Zandra, Independent. It's got a dubsteppy bit to it, which is makes it a little bit more edgy. It's a lot of songs it reminds me of, but it's probably one of the best songs in the whole selection. It's fun to listen to, and she has an amazing voice, Sandra. She's also pretty well known, even outside Romania. And the other song, which is she's just got such an amazing voice, and she's got a great. It's a great song, and that's Laura Bretan, Dear Father. She's only, I think, 16, maybe 17. She came up. She did really well at America's Got Talent a few years ago. She's lives in America, and she's got sort of like an operatic voice, and the song really moves me. It's such a moving performance, an outstanding song. So those three are fantastic, and I would if one of those three got through, I'd probably have them in my top 5 in Tel Aviv. But and as for the others, I quite like the 4 Song of My Heart. Again, there's quite a Balkan sound to it, with squeeze box and drums and female vocals. It's something we'd expect from Romania. And there's another popper type song, Bernicea, The Call, Dynasty of Love. It's a bit like a West End musical, but it gets real points for originality. So I like all of those, to be honest. They should do well, and I'm quite looking forward to Romania.
Thanks, Tristan. I've got to pick you up on Laura Breton, though, because I just don't get it at all. And I think it's just me, because everyone seems to, but I'll be honest, I don't get it at all. What am I missing? Is it a style?
I think the moving. I mean, if you listen to I don't know what. I mean, it's a very moving song about her father, and she's got such a beautiful voice. I mean, especially when she starts singing high, it just moves me. It's a moving song. Yeah. I think its simplicity will get it lots of votes. I
think I'm going to have to listen to it a few more times. Maybe I've missed something there, but no, I appreciate that. There's a few favourites for you there. Tom, what are your favourites in Romania?
Well, I was going to say, just to carry on from that conversation, I have looked at the odds, and it may please you to know, Stuart, that Laura Bretan is the odds-on favourite in Romania.
There you go. I know nothing. I have absolutely no knowledge of Eurovision ever. So ignore me. Absolutely.
Double down.
However, that isn't one of the songs that I've picked out either. The one that I've picked out are 2 actually. "Weight of the World" by Nicola.
Great song.
Yeah. It's got that Steps kind of feel, which is like UK 90s pop. Which kind of quite appeals to me. I think that could be quite good if it's got a nice lively presentation to it as well. But I do think that is a rank outsider. And Renegades is the other one. Linda someone. I'm not going to bother embarrassing myself by trying to pronounce that. But again, a really interesting song, good beat to it, and a song that has potential. If I was to go for my least favourite out of all of them, it's The Call, Dynasty of Love. But I do think that might be because when I started listening to it, I did have flashbacks to a certain Corsican entry in Destination Eurovision on Saturday night.
Can I just make the point about Nicola and Weight of the World? How fantastic is it to see Nicola back? I'm still having nightmares over her song in 2003. I don't know if anyone remembers the fake DJ flicking the decks and her screeching at the camera for 3 minutes. They say 2003 was the highlight. Was having Gemini sing out a tune, but for me, the highlight of 2003 was Nicola playing with her decks. Alistair, thank you for joining once again. I see you've corrected some of your technical issues. What are your favourites in Romania and why?
I love Nicola. I loved it in 2003. I still maintain that's a fantastic song. She has a unique style of vocal. And when I was listening to the Romanian songs, I was on the train up to Manchester a couple of weeks ago, and I was listening to them all. I was like, oh, this woman sounds a bit like Nicola. Turned out it was Nicola. So she's not changed a huge amount in the last, 16 years.
Better. She's regressed in age.
She looks younger. She looks younger. She looks about 16 years younger than she did back in 2003. I won't say how old she looked back then, because that would be inappropriate. But yeah, no, I mean, yeah, as Tom said, it's a good 90s pop sound. It's not the sort of song that would do particularly well if it got to Eurovision. But on a personal level, I think it's good, and sort of song that could get played at Euro Club and will be a bit of a fan favourite. But overall, I think Romania have got a decent selection. I'm with you, Stuart. I don't get the Laura Breton song. It kind of keeps passing me by. I've listened to it a few times now. It's okay, but I don't quite get why it's the big favourite. But then, I've picked a winner about twice in the last 2,000 years, so what do I know? I quite like the slightly downbeat ballad from Johnny Badalescu, which isn't really appearing on anyone's favourites, but I think that's a really sweet song. He's got a good voice, got a good melody. But then I also like the song by Mihai, who's decided to have this year's drama and flounce out. He always seems to be falling out with the Romanian broadcaster. That seems to happen every other year that he takes part in the Romanian final. But Tornero is still one of my top 5 all-time favourite Eurovision songs, so I'm always going to have a little bit of a soft spot for whatever he sends to Eurovision. So yeah, interesting selection. There's the song by Steam as well, The Way It Goes. I find that very catchy. The Cool Dynasty of Love, that's going to figure as well. So one of the better lineups, and one of those lineups that's kind of sneaking under the radar. Not many people are talking about the Romanian selection yet, but a decent selection there.
Yeah, I think overall it's 24 even very good songs. I'd take a number of these in the UK selection, just being selfish. I think there's some good songs there. Joanne, what are your favourites and why?
Well, I also have a soft spot for Mihai. It's a shame he's not there. And a bit of gossip on his Facebook page. He's trying out for San Marino. And what else was it? Moldova as a duet, I think he said on his Facebook. I sort of looked at him and I thought, okay.
Well, just to point on San Marino, Joe, if he wants to do a duet or even a trio, then I think Suri and Rodrigo Alves are up for it. On the looks of things,
Rodrigo.
At least.
I must admit, it would be fun. I think he probably meant next year though, which is also a thing. Now let me see. I also don't get Laura Breton. I totally agree with you. She seems like she looks so young, and it's like this little girl, nice voice, but I don't like the song a lot, if I'm honest. No one has mentioned Bella Santiago at all at the moment. Again, I don't know. It's too Eleni for me, personally. But my favourite is the Song of the Heart by the Fall. Very much, it's got that, as you say, it's got the squeeze, but it's different, and I'm going for different this year. I think it needs to stand out, and for me that's the one. And you know what Romania's like, they never tend to send the fan favourites, not in the last few years anyway, so maybe they'll do it again and send Song of My Heart again instead.
Well, I have written here the Song of My Heart, one to watch. Doritos style Mediterranean fun. There you go.
That's the one. Yeah, I agree.
There you go. Oben, what are your favourites in Romania?
Well, my favorite, which nobody mentioned yet, which I don't know, for some weird reason, the first note kicked in, I just fell in love. The two gents, Le Le Le, it's so original, so distinctive, clever songwriting, traditional flavor, ethnic, but at the same time current and modern, and when you think of a competitive atmosphere, you need something to stand out, and I think Two Gens would definitely stand out in a lineup that goes like Sweden, Denmark, Norway, Israel, Cyprus, and then Romania goes with the Two Gens, and then they will shine. I really fell in love with the song. On the other hand, TWM, Make Me Your Man, it's my absolute guilty pleasure. Love the originality. Sexy, naughty, but not in a negative way, positive way, and I think it will stand out as well in a final. About Laura, I think it's just what mesmerizing is that she just got the most angelic voice. It's heavenly. You just close your eyes and just listen to her voice, and even though the lyrics doesn't make sense, even though the lyrics doesn't make the effect that Michael Schulte did in last year with Make Me Walk Alone, if I'm not mistaken. So it doesn't make the same feeling. It doesn't give you the same feeling. But when you just listen the voice, it's just the voice. It gives you, it takes you some places. I don't know where, but some places. So that's my take on Romanian. And then it's a good national selection. A lot of good songs.
And Martin, complete the lineup with your favourites. I'm sure they're going to have a good year, Romania, aren't they?
Yeah, there's a lot of variety there. I mean, but my favourite, and occasionally I get tingles down my spine when I hear a song, and that was Laura Breton, Dear Father. 16 years old. She's won Romania's Got Talent as well, and she was in America's Got Talent, and she's actually sung with Il Volo in the final of America's Got Talent. I think it's sort of a bit like this year's La Forza. But I think if Romania sent her, I think they would not only get to the final, they would be top 10, that sort of level, maybe better, just purely because it would stand out a mile. I had Mihai as well, but obviously he's flounced out now. I think the replacement, one of the wildcard replacements, Bella Santiago, just listening to it once, it's so well produced. I could imagine that's going to do pretty well as well. And as a sort of guilty pleasure, I've got Trooper with Destin, just the audience participation bit, la la la. I can imagine, if it was our national final or Eurovision, the whole audience would be singing along with it, even though probably most of the audience wouldn't particularly like their music, normally the heavy metal. But yeah, I'd probably be going with Laura. Just to, if I was Romanian broadcaster, I'd probably be hoping Laura would win, because you'd be thinking, we're in the final and we're probably going to get a good result this year.
Yeah. Well, my two favourites are the two wild cards. So, I was one of the ones that was waiting for something to come that I thought was spectacular. And it came for me. I think Linda with Renegades is one of the best ballads I've heard for a while. I'm really excited about it. She took part in German Idol in 2018, reached the semis. The song is written by Jonas Stander, who some may recall is a Swedish legend in terms of songwriting. He's written the song "My Turn" by John Lundvik in last year's Melody Festivalen. It's a fantastic Swedish sounding power ballad. I think it's very chartable, and I think it's going to do really, really well. And I think that is, for me, that is going to compete with Laura Breton, who, despite my personal feeling, I completely get what a great singer she is, and she will certainly compete. The other song I've got, which I think will do really well, is Bella Santiago. But I think the more I listen to it, the more I think it's a rip-off of Fuego. So I'm inclined to not like it, just on that basis alone. But in summary, I think what we're saying is that Laura Breton is going to compete. We're saying that Bella Santiago is going to compete. Linda's going to compete. And probably the four with The Song of My Heart are going to compete. And some of the others will probably be close, but probably not close enough. So that's Romania. We'll see very shortly. Don't forget their semi-finals start shortly. You can catch them on TVR. which no doubt the links will be available online. I'm sure most of you use it, but Eurovisionworld.com is a good source of information. Well worth going there for links to the various national finals. So we finished the evening off with Hungary, but before we go there, I just want to go to the chat room and see what lovely comments you've been leaving us, certainly in relation to Romania. So what have we got? We've got Karen's says Mihai withdrew because he disliked the idea of wild cards. He lost trust in the Romanian delegation. He's also said Bella and Laura are his favourites or fan favourites. His personal favourites are Bella and Laura. And Claude says, I heard someone say that Laura's song is about God, but I honestly cannot remember where he heard that. I really love the song, though, and I'm excited that for once I like the fan favourite. There we go. So ADal, 30 entries. Heat 1 starts on the 19th. 5 qualifiers from each semi or each heat. There's 3 heats. The second heat's on the 26th of Jan. The 2nd of Feb is the third heat. Then we go into 2 semi-finals, and then the final on the 23rd of February. I mean, my word, they have some serious heats, and they really extend this, don't they? This goes on forever. Hungary have competed 16 times, 14 of them in the final. Their best result in '94, so a long time ago, where they came 4th. Anders Calais Saunders finished 5th in 2014, which is their best result in recent times with the song Running, and he features heavily in this year's heats. We'll come to that in a short while. Of course, last year AWS represented Hungary, and given their hype, I felt 21st was a little bit disappointing in the end. I don't know what my guests feel, but we'll come to that shortly. Tristan, ADal, 30 songs. Have we got a potential winner here?
We could well do. I love that Hungarian selection. It's still, I don't know what's been in the water in Budapest, but it's just so different to anything else that we've ever had in ADal. There's so many interesting urban dubstep rap. We've got. I think it's because of AWS last year taking part with the heavy rock song. I think it made artists this year realise that they don't have to be boom banger bang type songs, that they could send something that's very credible and urban and be appreciated by the Eurovision audience, because obviously he got through to the final, AWS last year. Obviously, there's only I think 1 or 2 rocky songs this year, but this year they've really gone for rap and dubstep. And the funny thing is, I don't like heavy metal, but I loved AWS last year. It's one of my favourites. I don't really like rap, but I really love the rap one. So there's something that Hungary manages to do to turn genres I don't normally like into songs I like. And my favourite, and I love this so much, I've listened to it every day, is USNK with Post Jolly, Make a Post, Post Jolly. And it's a very urban hip-hop song. It's got a bit of sort of chill-out hip-hop. It's just fantastic, and I've had it on repeat. And the UK could really take lessons here, because we've never done anything like this. Had so many songs. The closest we've had something really urban, apart from Love City Groove many years ago, was an attempt with Big Brothers. The year that Scooch won, Big Brothers was one of the options. That was the only time that we've sort of like tried to do something that's quite charty and urban. This year there's about 10 of them which are really sort of like that. I love USNK. I really love the middle tones, which is sort of like, again, it's quite ragga. It's quite it's a really impressive sound. The only problem with that is there's a lot of swearing in it, and I imagine they'd have to tone that down a lot if it were to go through. I love La Mama Hotel by David Heatley. Again, it's really, really commercial, very on point, very chart ready. Lots of dubstep again, and it's probably a sort of song the rest of Europe expect the UK to be doing and don't. And then just for something different, Leander Kills, who've obviously taken part in ADal in the past. This is lovely video. It's more of a folk song with a bit of a Celtic fiddle being played, and the video's got them all sitting around a fireplace, sitting around a campfire rather. It's a really nice song called Haza Vogyom. folky stuff, again, quite different to the others. Fifth, I'd have Denis Ide Varnak Viskia, which is, again, urban hip-hop. It's a really passionate rap. And it makes rapping sexy for me, which is something I'd never normally say. So I'm really excited about ADal, and can't wait for it.
Alistair, ADal.
Oh, my favourite national final. Always has been for years. I love Hungary at Eurovision. They are my favourite Eurovision country. And I kind of get what Tristan was saying, but I'd almost go a bit further. I don't think it was anything to do with AWS that has led to this kind of modern selection this year. Just look at what Hungary send over the years. They don't do Eurovision cliche. If anything, a Hungarian Eurovision cliche is not being a Eurovision cliche, whether it's being Kedvesen or Compact Disco, the lady back in 2007, whose name escapes me. AWS I absolutely loved. Andras Kalisanders. I mean, look at the diversity of songs that Hungary has sent, and they are the most contemporary Eurovision country, I think. And the national final this year just lives up to that. I mean, Tristan's already mentioned a couple of my favourites, La Mama Hotel. I really like the Middletons. A song I do like as well is the song Edge Set. I think it's by Modjog Edge Curly Cook, another modern urban sounding song, something that would really stand out on stage. I'd say over half these songs would really do well with televoters at Eurovision, because they're just different to what one would expect from a Eurovision style of song. And ADal this year also has my favourite title of a Eurovision song possibly ever, because I've never seen two words with so many Zs in them. It's a song by the group Konyaha Sazazor Viziatsut, which if I was playing Scrabble, I would like to do that.
Oh, I quite agree. So, Joanne, have we got a banger in Hungary?
I love ADal. I just love it. It is one of my very favourite national finals as well. And no one has mentioned Yes Fest. I love. They were my winners last year. I loved AWS, but they were my winners last year, and I think we should be sending them this year. I also like La Mama Hotel, Leander Kills as well. I guess there's so many we could choose from, but with Yes, it's just that sort of, I guess, that little bit of chorus, that distinctive voice that he has, that you think, oh yeah, that's Yes, and it's just, I just love them. Can't really say any more about them really, but Leander Kills as well for the violin, and I think the two of them, not as keen on the Middletons as everyone else. I think I don't like swearing on music, to be fair, in songs, and I think it would completely lose what it was all about if they have to take the swearing out and put other words instead, because let's face it, they say it about, I think it's about 50 F words. I don't know, it feels it. So yeah, I let's go for Yes. And I do think, and I agree with you, Tristan, I do actually think it's definitely the best lineup. And I'll be watching it, all of it every week. I'll be watching it.
Yeah, me too.
Martin?
Well, yeah, there's loads. I mean, I look through the list and there's at least 10, I think. Yeah, I really love all of those, and they're all different. Talking about the Middletons, Joanne's quite right. I've played Middletons on my radio show, and they sent me a censored version. I still had to bleep 4 words out. So that I think basically half the song's going to go because of that. So I'm not quite sure how well that's going to do if they do win, because it will just be some music. I do like Denise. I've played them as well. I don't really like foreign language rap or hip hop, but that one's brilliant. And Yes, I've played that as well. That's really good. Leander Kills. I love that one. I think that's actually my favourite of the lot at the moment. All of this is dependent on how well it comes across live. And the other one that's quite different to everything else was Oliver Burke's. I can't actually pronounce the actual song title, but it's actually a video. The video of it online was with a lighthouse, and it's slow paced. It's a lovely ballad, loads of emotional delivery throughout, and it's really different to everything else purely because it's a ballad, because everything else is not a ballad. But as I say, there was at least a third of these. I thought, wow, there's even a song, is it Petrushka? And it sounds like a guy it could have been Paul Simon and Gracelands. There's so much variety there. So it's definitely a national final to watch. But I think I'd probably be going for Leander Kills, I think, if I was going to pick one that might actually win and get through to Eurovision.
Oban, have Hungary got a potential Eurovision winner here?
Look, I when I watch back like the past years, and when I watch the BBC broadcasting, when I listen to Terry Wogan say, I must be listening another contest, I quite feel like the same way that Terry Wogan used to feel, and it's just like it took me 10 seconds to feel like to be hooked, I would say, to Middleton's, and how you wouldn't consider a nude picture in drawing as porno or erotic. You cannot consider, I don't know, I feel so passionate about this song. I'm in love, and swearing, not swearing is not an issue. It's art, and the artist is the songwriter, feels that way. It feels that way. If the artist wants to express that feeling, let it be that way. It's 2019 now. For the last 16 days, and who cares about swearing? Just what I care about, what the artist wants to tell us, what story that they want to tell us. And I am so passionate about Middleton's Roses. And on the other hand, Varai Laszlo, Someone Who Lives Like This, I think instead of Laura in Romanian selection, this song gave me the feeling of Michael Schulte. This was the only song in these four countries for me who told a story. I was just listening to the lyrics. I was just following the storyline throughout the 3-minute song. I just loved that one as well. USNK, it's just my type of rappy singing. It's cool, it's current, it's diverse. And I also want to agree with Alistair as well. Hungary is a breath of fresh air every single year. And I think this year, my top 10 is every single one. No matter who qualifies to the Eurovision, they're all gonna be a breath of fresh air like Hungary is every other year. So my tops are Middleton's and Varai, Someone Who Lives Like This, and USNK. Yeah, pretty much.
And Tom, complete the lineup. What are your thoughts on Hungary? Have we got a potential Eurovision winner?
Possibly, maybe. I think it depends on whether the Middletons actually goes through and represents, and also how they actually get rid of the swearing as well, because it's supposed to be a family show, and dare I say it, that's not necessarily a family song in the nicest possible way. I mean, for me, I thought the entry by the Monyo project, Run Baby Run, was a lot of fun. If slightly irritating, but could be a lot of fun. I quite liked Barney Hamar, Wasted. And I think that might pick up a lot of votes with a certain section of the population as well. Again, a good song. But the one that I really have a soft spot for, which is totally out from what everyone else has said, is, and I'll make sure I try and get the pronunciation right, Salvus. Barat means friend. And I thought this was quite contemporary, but also a bit different compared to the urban sounds. And it also invoked for me a little bit of Nickelback style kind of music as well. I did kind of think of Nickelback when I listened to it. In particular, the song "How You Remind Me," actually, which is quite appropriate. But that's where my vote goes with this one, because I think it will stand out enough.
So, I mean, I've got something to confess. We've got ESC Mike in the chat room, and I quite frequently use his channel. If you don't already subscribe to ESC Mike, you should on YouTube. It's a great channel for the latest, well, his view of the top 10, top 20, or in this case, top 30 for each national final. I think there's some great songs here. I genuinely think this is probably the best national final or heats and semi-finals that I have ever come across. That took me by surprise. There's not one song here I dislike, but let me talk about 4 songs in particular. Wollstone, Yes, with Incomplete, which I think is a fantastic tune, regardless of whether it wins or loses. We will hear that from time to come. That's going to be in Euro Club. That's going to be played at every Euro party that we all go to from now until eternity. Leander Kills, traditional folk pop. It's a brilliant tune, really brilliant tune. They've had 3 attempts at this. My gut feel is they probably have to have a 4th, but it's a fantastic song nonetheless. We haven't talked about Jockey Papai. Of course, has taken part again. It's a great ballad. I think it certainly grows. Maybe not immediate enough for the actual Hungary selection, but no doubt will make the final and be a contender. But the song I want to talk about is the Middletons. Middleton's Roses. The lyrics are, "She don't give a fuck." That happens throughout the song. I don't care. Like Oban said, it's art. And I think it's a fantastic representation of them as 2 artists coming together. Anders Calais Saunders, of course, who came 5th with the song Running, joined by his partner. And they've come up with this concept that they're evolving. And I watched a few interviews, and they were saying it was entirely Anders' idea to take part in Eurovision. And I'm glad they did. This, for me, hands down, the best song I have heard in any Eurovision selection ever.
I feel you. I
think it is phenomenal with a capital P. It has everything. It even blows stuff I don't even like, but it's blown me away. And I'm a massive fan of this song. I think if this makes it through, and it has to obviously make it through. The Hungarians have to like it, have to vote for it. No idea what they do with the swearing. Hopefully they'll keep it in. But we've seen with Sweden and Robin Benson that when he got to the final of Melody Festival, and interestingly he changed the word fuck to what was it, freak. And yet Lisa Ajax kept hers. She continued to sing with the F word. So I don't know what they're going to do. But if this song makes it to the final and wins and goes on to Eurovision, and they manage to somehow come up with a plan, this could win Eurovision for me. This could be the year that we see Hungary win Eurovision, and we could all be going to Budapest in 2020.
Hey.
That's my thoughts.
I couldn't agree more.
No, I thought it was a great song, because I actually, as soon as I heard it, I wanted a copy so I could play on the radio show. But being in the UK, and the UK being so prudish about swearing on anything, that even the word bloody you've got to apologise for. Yeah. Obviously the Middletons, what was in there, I was never going to be able to play it as it's intended, unfortunately. So that's going to be the issue.
But I think in a Eurovision final, we start showing at Eurovision at 8 o'clock. So from 9 o'clock, we've got certain censorship. But after 9 o'clock, it should be fair game. In Europe, the Eurovision starts from 9, possibly 10 o'clock. So I don't see it as a problem. And I think it's a big challenge for the EBU to deal with. And I hope it's one that they find a way to pass, because it's about time. We are 2019. That we start to accept this, especially at that time of the night. So I'd be for it. I take Tom's point about it being a family show. However, it is late in the evening, and I think it's about time that we allow an act to be artistic.
And to be fair, families do use these words. I mean, it's
not
every day.
I was going to say, not mine either.
No, who doesn't use? Come on, don't play angels. Who doesn't use an F word every once in a while? Everybody does it.
So there we have it. There are the 4 segments, 4 countries of the evening. We've taken you through Czech Republic, we've taken you through Spain, Romania, and now, of course, Hungary. And we've given you our thoughts. Did you agree with us? Did you think we were telling a load of old rubbish? Tell us, comment on the chat bar, comment on the comment section on our YouTube channel and let us know what you think. Don't forget, coming up soon, this Saturday, straight after Destination Eurovision Semi-Final 2, we will give you our thoughts of the 4 qualifiers. Does Bilal Hassani have a contender in the final of Destination Eurovision, or is he going to win hands down? Join us probably around midnight Central European time, 11 o'clock GMT, and we will give you our thoughts over a half an hour special show this coming Saturday. I'd like to say thanks to my guests. Thank you, Alistair.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joe.
Hi, thank you.
Thank you, Martin.
Thank you very much, as always.
Thank you, Tom.
Cheers.
Thank you, Alistair.
Oh, I get a second go. Thank you again.
Sorry. Thank you, Tristan. I'm going to stop.
Thank you. Thanks very much. Thank you.
I'm going to stop. I'm not drinking wine. I'm not drinking Bacardi. And thank you, Oban. Thank you for joining us for your first show. I hope you enjoyed it.
Pleasure. It's been a pleasure.
We had lots of fun. We will see you Saturday night. Thank you for joining. Don't forget to press subscribe. Don't forget to press the like button. You can catch us on podcasts on iTunes, on Spotify, on TuneIn, and now on Stitcher. Or you could just catch up and rewatch the show on YouTube. For now, from ESCFanTV, I'm Stuart Wilders. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you Saturday. Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.